Having a spouse that you can trust in all things is really, really important. So husbands, partners, boyfriends out there, you really need to support your partner. My mom worked really hard when she was 19, and I worked really hard when I was 19. So some people want a beach vacation, some people want a cycling. My vacations are usually like 80% vacation, 20% work. Well, I would say, it is hard to be an entrepreneur today, especially in today's economy, but you need to take a risk. You need to differentiate yourself from the competition. If you believe in it in your gut, proceed.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Stranger Story, a platform where we introduce the real stories of the inspirational leaders of the world. Today we have with us somebody who has achieved heights by just being a woman and has been supporting the community and has been an icon for all women across the world. Today we have with us the honorary captain of the Royal Canadian Navy, as well as the President and CEO of Surrey Board of Trade. Thank you so much for coming to Stranger Story today, Anita.
Thanks for having me.
And any message for the viewers before we begin this conversation, because I'm pretty sure that whosoever listening to the conversation, they already know you. If they're watching it in the lower mainland, that probably they know who Anita Huberman is. So any message to begin with?
Well, first of all, I'm very pleased to be here. I've been with the Surrey Board of Trade as its president and CEO for 18 years and with the organization for over 31 years. It really focused on making Surrey a city-building business organization.
Thank you so much, Anita. Now we would be digging more into your personal life, and we'll be scratching some interesting facts about you. So we really wanted to know how your journey was, like how your childhood was, what were your dreams when you were growing up, and where were you actually born?
So I was born in Hinton, Alberta, and my dad was a pulp and paper chemist. So my dad immigrated from Bombay first he lived in Germany in 1969.
Okay.
And then he moved to Montreal in 1970. And then he went back to India to marry my mom and brought my mom over in 1972. And a year later, I was born in Hinton, Alberta. So the thing is, my mom was 19 years old. And she didn't speak a word of English when she came to Canada.
I see.
And I consider my mom to be really a significant part of my life and a huge role model to me. So a year later, we moved to Prince George. My dad received a job at another pulp and paper mill in Prince George, and we lived there until 1984, and then we moved into Vancouver.
I see.
But my mom in Prince George, she secretly got a job at McDonald's part-time, and she secretly went to college to learn English.
Wow.
And then concurrent with that, also took bookkeeping classes and, on a designation to be an accountant. And so eventually my dad found out, and because back then, women needed to be in the house and raising the kids and all of that. And but eventually he understood. And then when we moved into Vancouver, my dad became sick, and my mom was, the person that was holding everything together. And my brother at that time was only 6 months old. And there's an 11-year age difference between the two of us. So I was a big sister, kind of a role model for him, hopefully, at that age. But very close we were, and we still continue to be. But I was so proud of my mom, and I still remember her, working so hard. And when I was 19, I applied for a summer student position at the Surrey Board of Trade.
I see.
because I needed to find a way to pay for tuition, my own way through school, because there was no other money. So I worked summers for 5 years. I worked 1 day a week to pay for school, and then I had to get a bachelor's degree in communications from Simon Fraser University with a minor in European history because I love to travel.
Yeah, I
So
saw
that, and
that.
I love history and all of that. But my mom worked really hard when she was 19, and I worked really hard when
When
I
I
was
was 19.
19. And sometimes you just have to rely on yourself. And so when I graduated university, I worked for a year at the Royal Bank in their customer service management training program. Discovered banking wasn't for me. And I actually took a month off because I had never had a month off,
Wow.
between high school, university, and it was really nice. And then the Board of Trade said that they need help. So I came back as an executive assistant, then events coordinator, then an operations
So
manager,
done all of that.
and then I applied for the top job when I was 32 years old. And it was unheard of back then in 2006, 2007 for a South Asian young woman to apply for such a position. I was the first South Asian female in this industry to find. I did get the job, as you
Yeah, of
know,
course.
and there's 430 chambers of commerce, boards of trades in Canada, and so I really had to revolutionize the organization with my team, which we did, because no one knew what the Board of Trade did.
Of course, now, yeah.
And now it's synonymous with action.
Yes.
So I've been president for 18 years, and very proud of the work that we do to make Surrey a city building business community.
I absolutely see you here that your mother was the one who initiated all of this, and of course, you have seen her working hard, and that's how now with working hard, you're working smart as well. And just because you mentioned about traveling, how important do you think traveling is for somebody, anybody?
Well, especially if you are in a very high stress position, you need to really take time off.
Okay.
And it's hard, when you're in a position like PICS, for example, Progressive Intercultural Community Service Society, also a not for profit, significant community stakeholder. You have to be on basically
All the time,
24/7.
yeah.
You have to be accessible to your clients because they rely on you.
Yeah.
But you do need to have some time to yourself. And so, my vacations are usually like 80% vacation, 20% work.
Work. Okay.
But I'm glad I have at least the 80% of ocean time,
Yeah.
beach time,
Yeah.
and whatever it may be. But it's very important to experience the world because you learn from other cultures, and then you can bring that back into your own life
Personality. Yeah.
here in Canada, into your personality, and you discover what is right, what is wrong, what you want your life to be.
Wow. So anybody, if you're feeling stressed, go for a vacation, I would say.
Yes,
Right?
well, I mean, absolutely.
Because
Yes, and I think, when you're on vacation, you want to, every person is so different in what they
yeah.
need. So some people want a beach vacation, some people want a cycling,
Yeah.
active vacation. Every person is different in terms of what relaxes them.
Exactly. And I was just reading in the morning, just a coincidence, that water has the tendency to calm you down, and there is a reason that beaches are famous, and
Yes.
that's the same reason. So, yeah, it resonates with that. And moving ahead, I really wanted to ask you, because this is also the Mental Health Awareness Month. Really wanted to know how you take care of your mental health as well as your physical health. So, what's
Mm.
your secret?
Well, I have to be honest. I actually need a lot of improvement when it comes to taking care of both my physical and mental health. As I mentioned, very high stress position. Like even in our industry, we have 30% turnover nationally, 30% turnover provincially because it's very high
Yeah.
stress positions, even if you're in a small town. Still
Yeah,
fairly
yeah,
high
exactly.
stress versus an urban center like Surrey. But physically, I lift weights every morning. I try to do stretching exercises every morning. I have a lot of back issues, so I am forced to do that in order to be mobile, but I have to do way more than that. Um, and I need to be much more. So your physical and your mental, everything ties in
Connected. Yeah,
together. It's all connected. I've hired a nutritionist lately as
yeah.
well. Because things happen after you turn 50, and so you need good nutrition versus good physical health, which equals good mental health. But I have a long ways to go to really being that balanced person.
Amazing. So that's a nice learning for the viewers as well. So you are motivated, and maybe you come ahead today, start doing some yoga and gym or stretching. So that's the kind of inspiration we are trying to spread here through Stranger Story as well. Now coming back to your family, really wanted to know about who all are in your family and
Mm.
how you spend quality time with them, and like something related to that, because that's also is going to reveal some of your personality traits, I would say.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, my mom and brother are the only ones here. My dad passed away in 2009. And then there's my husband, and I have no kids. So I really, have a small circle of trust. So a small circle of friends that I trust as well. But my mom and my brother and my husband, we try to spend at least once a week with each other or once every 2 weeks. We've been trying to go on holidays, like long weekends away together. But the most amazing thing that we did was last December. The four of us, we went away to Europe during Christmas and New Year. So we went to Amsterdam, we went to Sicily, and it was the first time in a long time that
Period.
we had a family vacation. And my mom said, she wished she hadn't waited until she was 70 years old to go to Europe
Wow, dream
because
come
you have
true.
to walk everywhere.
Yeah,
She wished her health was better as well.
I see.
But she was a trooper, and we had such a great time and so many amazing memories. And I think with my husband, we've been married 21 years. It will be in September. We've been together 24 years, and he is my soulmate, and he's my best friend, and I really rely on him for many things. Some people think it's the other way around, but it definitely is, and we're partners in
Yeah,
life, and it has to be that way. So, it's we're all so busy. My husband has his own home-based
yeah.
business, and my mom, she owns her own part-time bookkeeping business. She's treasurer,
Still?
still at the
Wow.
age of 70. She's treasurer of her strata. She's treasurer for her church, and she has a full-time position as the CFO for Langara Student Union
Cool.
at Langara College. So she's a busy lady. It's hard to slow her down, and but she's very, very smart, and a lot of people still rely on her.
Amazing. That's really inspiring coming from her side. Talking about your husband, like you mentioned, uh, I've seen a lot of couples. I mean, it's always like the husband is gonna take care of this, and so there are few notions already connected to, especially in the South Asian community. But your husband has been the biggest support, and it still is. Any message for the husbands out there, uh, yeah, regarding to your message to them, so they should be supporting their counterparts.
Well, I think as a female leader, or if you're a female that's working, having a spouse that you can trust in all things is really, really important. Someone that you can talk to about anything and there's no judgment is absolutely important. Your home life, like when you go home, you need to escape from work.
Yes.
And so if you don't have that, then you're never going to be a balanced individual. So, husbands, partners, boyfriends out there, you really need to support your partner and, whoever that may be. And in order to have a meaningful relationship, to have a joyful life today and tomorrow.
Thank you, Anita. That was really helpful. I believe we'll have a short reel for this because it really goes well with the social media thing. Because everybody these days is scrolling how to find the right partner, what are the traits, 10 qualities, and all those kind of things. And this is something unique coming out from you because you're always talking about business and you can help small businesses. So, last message for the small business owners or young entrepreneurs, which I know you are helping a lot, many of them. So, any short message for them?
Well, I would say, it is hard to be an entrepreneur today, especially in today's economy, but you need to take a risk. You need to differentiate yourself from the competition. And even if there's a group of people that disagree with what you're doing, if you believe in it in your gut and in your heart and in your mind, proceed. It may work, it may not work, but when it works, wow, you are going to be amazing.
And I've just read that again. I keep reading a lot, but then the biggest risk is taking no risk.
True.
Yeah. So I think go with that funda and that mantra. And thank you so much for sharing all the wisdom with us today at PIC's head office. I would like to thank PIC Society for collaborating with us on this video. And thank you to you. And look forward to many more videos. If you have any questions for Anita for Surrey Board of Trade, please feel free to comment below. And you never know, we might come up with part 2.
Absolutely. Why not? I have lots to say.
Yeah, why not? So thank you so much for watching today's video. Thank you. See you again.
Thank you.